All righty. What's up, everybody?
That's what you say every time we start.
All righty.
All righty.
It's exciting.
All righty then.
South Carolina is #1 again. That's been a common theme.
Okay. Should we throw a party?
I mean, it's exciting stuff. I can't even contain myself. But we have seen explosive growth.
Yes.
So tonight, we're going to talk about all the effects that has on South Carolina, mostly the Grand Strand. We're going to distill it down. But it's
distill it down again.
I always say I like distill. Distill is that's what I'm talking about. All right. So if you're watching this and you live here in the Grand Strand, tell us where you're at, where you live. We're going to be talking about
where you moved from. Where you moved here from.
Yeah, for sure. Where'd you move from? Where'd you come from? How long have you been here? We'd love to know. And don't forget, we have found that most of the people, and I find this, I actually just subscribed to a channel today that I was watching a podcast. Most of the people, many of the people that watch our channel aren't subscribed.
Oh.
So if you're not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe so that you don't miss when we do our regular videos, because we do them all the time. I'd say 2 a week on average. So I'm Frank Harita. In case you aren't sure, this is Tiffany Harita, and we are Carolina Crafted Homes, the Harita team at Carolina Crafted Homes. And we do real estate, and we do building and renovation and lots of other stuff. So let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit. Tiffany has her notes as usual. I brought my surprise notes.
I'm going to try to keep Frank from jumping around.
She's not happy about it, but that's how it goes.
No.
So we're big believers in this market, and growth is definitely validation. But I think that with the growth, there are other effects, and I think that we're just trying to let you know exactly what's taking place and what we see coming, what everyone else sees coming, the good and the bad. And I think that that's a worthwhile conversation. If you're planning on moving here, or if you're already here, did I miss anything?
No.
Okay. Tiffany's in the mood to talk tonight. All right.
I've still been a little sick, so if I sound a little sick,
just keep
don't
your distance.
say anything. I know.
We should have put a sheet between us,
on you.
and then everybody could see you and me, but we couldn't see each other. That actually would have been fun.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, let's follow your notes.
Yes. So we have consistently been the number one fastest growing.
That's right.
With roughly over 80,000 people a year moving into our area or purchasing in our area. Do you want to show the chart?
Okay. So
population.
Tiffany brought a chart, but I brought a chart too. So let's see what we think of these charts. So here's a chart Tiffany brought for population. So this is just an example of, so this shows the last 5 years. So this is 2020, right before COVID. And this is the population growth explosion.
Well, it's how many people a year. So we were getting like 45,000, and then it just like boomed after COVID. Everybody's
so you have a 15,000, then another roughly 15,000, and then it's crazy.
Well, people started moving here due to COVID because they could work virtually. And I had a lot of clients during that time that said, hey, this was our opportunity finally to move somewhere we really wanted to be and not be stuck where we were. And so I think in a weird way, COVID really helped with the boom in our area.
I
Even though
agree.
it was growing before then, but I think it really hit a boom the last 10 years.
No, I agree with that. And I was actually going to show here. Quick look.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So this is what I wanted to show. So put it on. Here's the second slide. That what I think about this is interesting is, where did the 80,000 go? They came to South Carolina, but they didn't all come to Myrtle Beach. We're seeing explosive growth, but this 80,000 kind of breaks everybody down. Now, this may not be exact. This is according to AI as well. So it kind of split it up, and it could be rough. But to give you an idea, 17% of the people that have grown or that have come here, where did the 80,000 new residents go? A large chunk went to the upstate. 17% came to the Grand Strand, and then another chunk, low country. I would say that's still us, wouldn't you say? Would you count? I guess low country would be much further
Maybe
south,
Beaufort,
Beaufort
or Beaufort. Sorry,
Beaufort, yeah. And then Charleston, and this breaks down even further. So, but I just wanted to give everybody an idea of exactly where people went when they came to South Carolina. And I think that it's interesting. So, but just that 17,000 that we got that are actually here now, how that's affecting our small town, Myrtle Beach. And so, but 80,000 to the state is a big deal. That's a big influx. So,
well, we've been getting national attention from all the reports and everything saying fastest growing small towns, fastest growing towns in general. I mean, I feel like every time they put out a list, the Grand Strand is always on it the last at least 10 years. And if you think about all of the little towns across America, it's pretty crazy that we keep getting recognized as one of the fastest growing areas of the country. And when we moved here, I think we always say we didn't know what to expect, and we weren't really planning to stay here.
Yeah.
And then we discovered how amazing it really is to live here in the Myrtle Beach area. And I think people are starting to catch on now that it's more than just a retirement or vacation place.
For sure.
Although we will talk about retirees, because we do, that is a large part of our population. But Frank, we've seen over the years people coming from specific areas. Really, like, we have clients from everywhere, but I mean, you would think about the bulk of them coming from where?
Should I guess?
Yeah.
Well, one of them's got to be New Jersey.
Yes.
New York.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Of course. Yeah.
Ohio.
Yes. You're from Ohio, babe.
Yes. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. But recently we've been having a lot more clients from the West Coast. So we've always had those Northeastern people, like a bulk of them. And I would include West Virginia in that too. We have a lot of clients from there. But in the past couple years, we've had a ton of people from the West Coast, and specifically California, moving here and buying oceanfront property. We're a lot more affordable. I don't think you could touch the oceanfront for anything. You could get like a gorgeous home here, like home on the ocean.
Yeah.
So
it's not even
amazing.
Close. Yeah, it's not even close.
And then our taxes and cost of living and everything. So it makes sense why that would be the case, but it's really interesting. But we have seen, that's the trends of the actual data, but that's what we've seen that matches with our business over the years and where our clients are in fact coming from.
Yeah.
But the problem is that most of those areas, what is in common about a lot of those areas?
High cost, high taxes.
But they're also selling for
big
a high
dollars,
price.
Sure.
And then they're coming down here with a lot of equity.
They're coming down with that money.
Should he be on American Idol, everybody?
They're taking their money down here and they're purchasing.
Which that's good for our area, because it creates a very stable market when you have that much cash. But it also, the downside to that is they can really outbid the locals.
Yes.
Because they have that upper hand of the cash.
Well, that's what happened during the last couple of years. I mean, we were everything was like, you did an open house and 100 people came through.
It was crazy.
I mean,
multiple offer. I mean, we always say cash is king, but during the boom after COVID, I would tell people, even if you have cash, that doesn't give you a better deal. It just might get your offer accepted because there was more than one person with cash. You couldn't go in and get a steal because you had cash. Now cash is a good position in today's market.
And we talked about, so the population had an explosion in our state. Great. People moved here for certain reasons, whatever they were. They're here. They're in different areas of the state. What does that mean for us? Mm-hmm. Well, it obviously means higher prices because people bought up homes. The prices went up over
jumping ahead.
Well, no, I'm just kind of, okay, well,
he likes to.
I'm just making sure.
Bing, 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 bing,
yeah,
bing,
but
bing.
I'm just trying to make sure that they understand that, the influx of people it affected many different things.
Right, which we'll talk about all those things.
Yeah. All right, what else do you want to say about this part?
Do you have anything else to say?
No, we said it all. I think we're booming.
You want to talk about the gray tsunami, or what do you call it?
Silver tsunami. So we have, this is just in the country, but it obviously affects
Have y'all heard of the term gray tsunami?
Silver is what I've heard, not gray.
Well, gray or silver. Have y'all heard of that? I never really heard of that.
Silver tsunami is a thing.
Well, you're a silver tsunami, babe.
I recently got a nice short fade and look, dang. Okay, so all these 55 and better people, would you call it? I'm almost in this group.
I don't know what age is boomer, but I would think now that would be like 65 and up. Probably.
Something like that. Yeah, I forget the age.
But the gray tsunami, I think, is specifically referring to all the boomers that are now all retirement age. A lot
of them are selling businesses or have businesses they're looking to get rid of, or they're the ones that are actually can and willing to do something. They either need to downsize, just sell their home. They don't want to have a home and the responsibility anymore, but they also have the money. We have we still do have an affordability crisis. So the only people, not the only, majority of the people that can do something are the ones with the money.
Well, a lot of the younger generation probably have a mortgage, and
if they own,
and probably a bulk of the ones that do own that have a mortgage maybe had locked in at a low interest rate. Yes. And it's harder for them to move, even if they want to make it worth the higher prices plus the higher interest rates. You might get the same type of home, for the same mortgage payment now. So even though you're getting higher price on your current home, so with the boomers having more equity or even cash, that helps. And also they've seen markets with super high interest rates, 19% interest rates. So they understand that we still are in historically a good interest rate level right now, even though we don't feel like it.
So with those individuals moving to Myrtle Beach or down here, we also then that's going to put a strain on healthcare.
Well, I think
Tiffany doesn't like when I throw in my jump ahead a little bit.
We're talking about I don't even know anymore. Let's just go to healthcare. Go ahead, babe.
But listen, here's the thing. If they're going to downsize, fine. They're the ones that have the money. So they're also going to be the ones that free up some of the market. If a bunch of them are downsizing, that frees up some homes, right?
I know, but I've had a lot of clients that come here and they say they're going to downsize, and then they realize what that means when they walk into, they call and say, hey, I don't want to be more than 1,700 square feet ranch. We're downsizing. And then they go into that size of home. And I think a lot of times they don't realize how small it is, or that they actually do want a larger home again. So we have had clients that have really downsized and then actually upsize again, kind of midway back up. So, however, it is a huge thing in our area to have one level ranch style homes because we do have such a large percentage of our population that is the retiree, and they want the master down, the ranch homes. I mean, that's a huge portion of the homes here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
For sure. Was I supposed to put up one of these slides for
the dark?
The dark?
Yeah.
Why'd you call it dark?
I don't know.
It's a silver. It should have been silver.
I don't know.
Silver Tsunami, who's moving here. So 55 and better is 60% and 40% under 55.
So, I mean, honestly, when we first moved here, I thought that would be more at 90% 55 and up. I just didn't think there was anything here for younger generation. But again, we realized that was wrong, and it's such a great place to raise a family.
Like me.
But I mean, you have the mild climate, you have all the golf courses, you have, I mean, so many activities around town and a lot of outdoor things. So who wouldn't want to retire here? And we have the halfbacks that retire in Florida from the north and realize that's too much of a shock of hot, humid weather. And they don't quite want to go back to the cold. So they end up in the Carolinas, which I think has always seemed to be the case.
Yeah. So, and we don't know where things are going, but there's a lot of talk of, property tax going away or, lowering of taxes in general across the state. And so there's a lot of that going on too. You get Florida leading the way, Tennessee leading the way with 0.
Do you think we'll lose some of our our population of the 55 and up to states like that?
I'd be gone if I didn't need to be here. If I was like, I'd go to Florida.
You'd go to Florida.
Now I get it. Some people, it's like too humid, but come on, we're splitting
well, they have some other problems
hairs.
Too.
Yeah, everybody has their fair share, but I'm going to the Keys.
Okay, well, South Carolina needs to get on it with this income tax.
Yeah, I mean, let's go already. Like, what are we talking about?
I don't even know that they are talking about it here.
So it's clear people are moving here for things that we're doing already, like lower taxes, not the lowest, but lower, the weather, the location,
the beach.
So if Florida and Tennessee are leading the way, and I think it might be Mississippi, but there's a couple of states more than that, probably about west, but I'm talking Southeast region, that are leading the way with taxes and some other things. I think what DeSantis is doing in Florida is doing some great things from a policy standpoint, because it brings people there, brings people in. We should be doing that. And so that's just my take and my opinion. But
what do y'all think?
Yeah, what do you guys think?
I think everybody probably doesn't want to pay property taxes.
I know you're going to have a bunch of you that are like, no more people here. I get it on TikTok all the time. No more people in Myrtle Beach. We're full. And I get it. But it helps the growth. It's good for the growth.
Again, growth is good and bad because growth brings things that are good that we'll talk about. And it also brings growing pains sometimes. So, but as far as the prices, Frank, with all of, let's just say even the silver tsunami or whatever coming in and people from the Northeast. So we've talked about those two things, or from the West Coast, paying cash, having a bunch of equity, feeling like our market is still good prices compared to where they're coming from. Don't you think that's driving up the prices of the properties here?
For sure. I think obviously people moving here will drive up prices. Yes, it is.
Well, the lower the
there's a
inventory,
lot of things
the more you can ask.
Well, we have a chart on that too. Do you want me to hold this prices one up?
Yeah.
All right. I think that's the one. Yeah. So this is the price chart from 2020 to 2025. I have some charts that went back 10 years. Yeah, this isn't like a shock. This happened everywhere across the country. So it's not like a, oh my gosh moment, but it's really crazy when you see a line graph. I could tell you, hey, prices now, the average price, 340, 400, whatever you want to call it, the median price. But when you see a chart like this and it's just going straight up, it really is kind of hits home a little different.
I think we all didn't realize really how affordable we were.
I know.
We were all like, la, la, la. Our home prices are so low. Interest rates are 3%. Like, what? We should have bought 50 properties back then. It was crazy. But even at 340, I would think that we're still one of the more reasonable markets in the country as a median home price, because 340 is still reasonable, I feel like, as a median.
No, I agree. Is this what is this? Days on? This is days on market. I'm just going through active inventory. That's not it. This is nope. That's
Okay.
not it. All right, we'll just
How about
skip
we
it.
move on?
Yeah, that's the one I didn't.
This is why we should stick with Tiffany's slides, and
Anyway, fine. All right.
So demand is still strong. We have seen a little slowing, like we've talked about before, with the interest rates going up, but I feel like we still haven't hit a point where things aren't happening. We're just kind of at a balanced point.
Well, in interest rates, we might as well. I think it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to raise interest rates.
Well, that's definitely another video for sure, but I hope not.
I'm serious. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. But
well, one of the biggest complaints, don't you think, that you get on TikTok or whatever when people are complaining is the infrastructure has not caught up to the growth.
Yes. And that's fair, but you're going to get that. You can't, no one's ever going to do one and then the other perfectly. I mean, come on. Yeah. So you're either going to get the influx of people and then you have to catch up with infrastructure, or you're going to do the infrastructure and hope people come. Who's going to do that?
Well, I think to do the infrastructure, you probably need money to do it.
That
and
too. People
moving here helps to give the money to then fund the infrastructure. But we have we've talked about the penny tax that funds, it's the RIDE program. We're on RIDE 4 now, but every year that's funded a lot of new road projects that we've needed in town. So like 31, Highway 22, those aren't old highways that we have here.
For sure.
So things are getting better. The expansion of 501 seems like it's been going on since we moved here. I don't know what that's all about, but other road projects have seemed to come. But it's funny because you sent me that we're doing this topic today, and I got an email from Lindsey Graham, and he was like, "Hey, I love Horry County. This is why, of course, he wants to get a vote." But anyway, he was saying all of the things that they've approved as far as the budget, millions and millions of dollars going to Horry County. And so I do have a chart on that, but it's basically one of the big things that we've talked about as road projects to help is the I-73 corridor, which connects 22 up to North Carolina. And that's been talked about for, oh my gosh, so long. And
if that happens,
it just finally got funded from South Carolina side. Yeah. If you want to put
$2 billion is what chart. The number, I think.
Yeah, I don't know that North Carolina.
Which one is it? This?
Yeah, I don't know that North Carolina has talked about that, but here's the I-73. So the state agreed for $15 million. The Parkway was $22 million. More flood programs, that's $28 million. They're also funding healthcare and education. So, I mean, this really a lot of money that they're sending from the statewide, not just what we're collecting in the county, but towards the growth issues we're having. So I think there is a recognition that our area is one of the fastest growing in South Carolina, and we do need that extra help. And
but what happens with that money they're sending?
So it's towards these different projects.
Yeah, but $15 million. How much is it going to cost for I-73?
Well, I think so. They had to get money from a lot of different sources. Horry County, and I know North Carolina had to cover their funds.
$2 billion is what I saw, estimated at $2 billion, and still working through funding. I don't know if that's true. That's what or accurate, but that's what I saw. That was what I scraped off online. But that's a huge number.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
true. I mean, I don't. That sounds like it could be.
But I think, wouldn't you say one of the biggest issues that people complain about is road congestion?
Traffic, for sure. It's the number one thing people talk about. 150,000 vehicles per day on some corridors. The transportation plan that we have, though, is worth in the billions as well. Over 25 years. So
I
it's
mean,
like
they're
5 to 6
they're
billion.
constantly
Yeah.
building new roads or widening roads here. And I know we all want it like so much faster, but even since we moved here, it's night and day to all of the roads around town that
For
are
sure.
mainly used. A lot of them have already been done. And I do feel like the ride programs, they are not taking 20 years to do. I feel like they're pretty quick about those
They were
projects.
They were impressive on Carolina Forest Boulevard.
Yeah. And 707.
They did a good job with Carolina Forest Boulevard. Only because we take it all the time, but they did that fast and they did it really good. I was impressed.
We used to never want to drive on Carolina Forest Boulevard unless we were showing a home on the neighborhood, but otherwise, especially around 5 o'clock, I mean, even earlier, you'd be stuck in traffic. It was a 2-lane road and all the neighborhoods along that road. And if you don't know Carolina Forest, we have a video on our channel that talks all about Carolina Forest, and it shows you a map and everything, so you know. But it's one of the really popular parts of town where there's tons of communities, families, schools, and so but they widened it to 4 lanes plus median plus put in some stoplights, and it's dramatically changed the number of accidents and traffic patterns and stuff like that. So now River Oaks, we've talked about, which is connects to Carolina Forest, is now where the old Carolina Forest used to be, which is the next road project. But wouldn't you say, and we've talked about this, like when people complain about traffic, it's kind of funny because I honestly don't feel like we have really bad
traffic. Is not, I mean, look, it's not
compared to where we've lived.
If you're talking about like, here in Myrtle Beach and how you have to sit in traffic, yes, 5 to 6 o'clock is not fun, going from like Myrtle to Carolina Forest.
But it's still not that bad.
No, but the people that lived here their whole life, it is.
Yeah, I guess if you.
For people that are like up north, we're like, get a life.
Well, it's not that big a deal. Charlotte, like that was like.
But as they widen the roads too more, they will continue to widen, and it will just get better. And
they're putting in the new interchange onto 31 from the heart of Carolina Forest, which will help those congested corridors.
Yeah,
but there are certain spots in town. But I feel like overall, if you're out of those little like congested spots, it's pretty like free flowing, even with the tourism and people living here. In my opinion, I'm not really in traffic very much, only on certain intersections.
I am when I come back home and in the morning. So in the morning,
like one intersection.
In the morning for like an hour and coming home for like an hour. That's
you're
the
not
time
stuck
frame.
In traffic for an hour.
No.
I'm
saying during that, I know. During that hour.
I know, but they might have thought you meant
5 to 6 and like in the morning.
But that means
like
you wait through a light for like 3 cycles.
Yeah. 8 to 9 in the morning. It's not a huge deal. It's annoying, but it is what it is. It's just part of the growing pains. I wouldn't not live in Myrtle Beach because of it.
I just think the traffic here is just, I'm really never usually stuck in traffic.
It's not a big deal.
So and our highways are never like a traffic jam unless there's an accident or something, but it's always not very many people on the highways. So anyway, that still does need some work in those specific areas, and I think they are working on it. And while they are doing the road projects, it's very annoying.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Living through a road project is you good.
Yeah, I almost dropped my glasses.
Living through a road project is hard.
But also along with roads is schools. Mm-hmm. Schools are also, I found this 21 Horry County schools hit 95% plus capacity for 2024 and 2025. Some were over 130%.
Well, Hudson School was.
Yeah.
But they opened up 3 new elementary schools right in our area, and literally Hudson's school got cut in half, the amount of people. So now it's like he's in a tiny little school.
It's great.
It's amazing. Now we're under capacity, but they're anticipating growth and being able to handle the growth because with the new schools, it made these under capacity.
And Horry County schools serve 47,000 students. It's the 3rd largest district in the state and growing fast.
But isn't that crazy? Would y'all think that? I mean, I didn't think that when we moved here, that there's that many children here.
Well, understanding the school zone landscape is critical if you're going to buy here, if you're going to move here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the major point. You're right, but that's also to anybody watching or thinking about moving to Myrtle Beach. Look, if you're going to go to any place in the country where it's popular and people want to be, these are just things to consider. This isn't a big shock, and it's not like I'm not going to move there, but this is what's happening. And that's what this channel is about. That's what our lives are about, is telling you this is what's taking place. We could sit here and be like, oh my gosh, everything's great, which it is, but there are also some things to think about. And that's what we're going over today. But yeah, you just wouldn't think when you say 47,000, you're like, whoa.
But I think if I thought about, hey, I want to change my lifestyle because I really would like the beach life and everything that the beach and Myrtle Beach specifically has to offer. In my mind, before we moved here, I would have thought, oh my gosh, if we have kids, they have only retired people around and nobody to play with. And I mean, that was seriously shocking to me that there is such a big amount of families in our area, and all of the youth sports that are offered here and the programs and all the schools. It actually is very surprising. So if you have considered moving to South Carolina and you're maybe looking for what spot, we see a lot of times people will say, I want to move to South Carolina. I'm not sure what city, Charleston or even Greenville over towards the mountains, Myrtle Beach, and trying to figure out the pros and cons of all of them. And I think that's something people should explore more instead of writing off Myrtle Beach as just purely vacationers and retirees. I think that's the main point I would like to get across, because that's the landscape has changed for that.
I agree with everything you said. We also have a water, sewer, and drainage challenge here, which they're working on. They've been working on, they continue to work on. I think it's an $81 million bond for infrastructure here, dedicated infrastructure. That could be off. I think that's right. And 16.5 million is for water and sewer.
Well, there's so many new communities coming up all over town. Every time they open up a new road, talking about infrastructure, they open up a new road and all of a sudden pop, all of these new communities and schools open in that area. So they need to get that infrastructure there to support that. And even with natural gas. So when we first moved here, there wasn't really natural gas readily available in our area. We had mostly propane. We've done videos on that. Still today, most of the neighborhoods are still propane only if you want gas. But a lot of the newer communities, the builders have brought in natural gas. So we have Dominion Energy. Well, so many of them popped up that recently Dominion said for many of these communities, okay, you can't have HVAC running on gas now, or they're cutting it back what you can do, because I think the surge of so many people, maybe they weren't expecting or prepared for that yet. So it's really interesting, because you're right that infrastructure of gas, sewer, water, trash, all of it is.
Let's not forget about the power grid.
Well, we've gotten complaints about the power, because one of our major power companies in town a little over a year ago did a change to peak hours. And this winter was really rough for everybody, and it was the first full winter, I believe, that we've had that. And
why don't
everybody's
you explain
bills
what peak
were
hours,
tripling.
what's peak hours, and what do they do?
So in the fall and winter, the company says between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., when it's really cold, you're trying to get up and you want to heat your house, the price of your electric is going up during those hours. So whatever you use, if you do your dishes, do your laundry at those hours, turn on your heat when you get up, whatever you do, they're like, hey, you can minimize this new peak hour by not doing any of that. But everybody can't always change their routine. And I'm walking around with like 3 robes on because I'm cold, but I'm like, I can't turn the heat on until 9.
Meanwhile, I've got the fireplace going.
He like sits in front of the fireplace. I'm like, what are we doing? This is crazy. But April 1st, we just changed over because spring and summer, they change it to 6 to 9 at night. So they want to get those peak hours where most people use the most electric. And they're saying, if you also use electric during that time, like everybody else, we're going to charge you more. And so all of us are trying to figure out how to navigate this. Even in our neighborhood Facebook page alone, people are like, hey, my bill's tripled. Anybody else? And then it's like bing, 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 like everybody's, including us. We are paying double, triple, depending on how efficient you are during those hours. So a lot, we'd love to know your thoughts on that. I mean, everybody's like, we have to do something. And I'm thinking, what can we do?
Well,
I'm not sure.
It's interesting because like we've got that, they're talking about bringing a data center into South Carolina, and I haven't had a chance to really read up on what exactly.
Not in our area, but outside of the area.
Outside of our area. But I would be interested to know if that area of South Carolina is also, if it's near a place where we got a lot of the population growth, and they're adding a data center, which is going to eat up power, what that means for the area.
All the residents there are really protesting that because they're saying they don't have the resources to power something like that. And how is it going to affect them? They might see the same effect we've had here.
Pretty crazy.
But this is something for sure that I think is part of the growth issue. I don't know that they would have made these peak hours if we weren't having such growth.
Yeah. And again, it comes down to you do what you have to do. You can't have both. So if you want to have a place where you're living by the beach and you're doing all these things, I mean, I feel fortunate that people want to be here. You know, we could be, and I would be happy if people weren't, but I think it's a good thing that we have growth and people want to come. But I think you're going to see more of this in other places along the coast as we get further into the future.
Well, I think the good thing about the growth, though, is that, yes, you have those little growing pains, but we also have really great restaurants popping up, a lot more variety than we had 10, 15 years ago. There's a lot more options for so many things, like gyms, different types of workout programs, different types of restaurants, more industry besides just tourism. There's actually more jobs coming here being available. So we are getting like the big wholesale grocery stores like Costco, Sam's, BJ's. We just got Trader Joe's is not big in wholesale, but like these big names are coming to our area now because they're noticing the growth. So you get a lot of those niceties also, and the things that are good along with the growth, because growing drives business. Population growth drives business. And
well, they're going to look at rooftops. And so the more people that come, then they're going to take a look at rooftops and say, okay, grocery stores, anchor tenants, they're going to look at that before they decide if they're going to make an investment and put a store here.
But I think that's why it's easy in our area also, because most of the area, you can get to a restaurant, you can get to a grocery store, you can get to those things within a couple miles of your house for the most part. I mean, we have so many up and down the strip. It's not like little pockets here and there. It's really centered around the communities here, which does make it different. If you move out to the outskirts, like Ann or Loris, Conway, right now they have those growth and you're having to drive 15 minutes, but we've already started to see those retail centers popping up in those areas that were never there before because they're seeing the neighborhoods. So I tell people, like, you'll have to wait for a little bit for those to come, but they certainly are coming as the growth is coming. So that's one of those things that's like a little bit of a lag also. But if you get in first before you have everything right there, you can get a better deal and then maybe have some good equity in the future.
100%.
So, but most of the area that's established already has those things really close. And it makes it super convenient.
Yes, you have to go. But if you want, depends on what you want. But you have to go to like Charleston for, like, if you're going to go do shopping or, you know, like really what?
Well, like
the nice high end. Yeah. Saying
we have retailers, but not like Louis Vuitton
or if you're going to like restaurant wise, we're good here, but we're nowhere near Charleston. Like if you want really good food, you would go there.
I agree, but I think that we are starting to get those Charleston type
We're
chefs
getting there.
coming
We're getting
to our
there.
area.
Yes, we're getting there.
And we never had that before.
It's slowly getting
So
there.
I think all of that is starting to happen. And again, more schools popping up. So we have the big thing here is the number of charter schools that are opening every year.
That's
it's
true.
Unbelievable, really.
Yes.
And we've talked about that before, but things are coming. So there might be things a little bit of a lag, but we are getting resources after people are moving here.
100%.
So healthcare.
Struggle fest, struggle bus.
Well, we've seen a lot hospitals pop up, emergency rooms pop up.
That's been great. I love that. I love to see that.
They're building another hospital in Carolina Forest. They did 2 emergency rooms. They built a hospital in Little River. So they are, we already had 4 hospitals in the area already, but they're putting in more, and I think more specialized options that you used to have to drive out of town to get. Now, a lot of serious health issues, people still go to MUSC in Charleston, which isn't too far. But I think we are starting to get a lot more options here that you don't have to go for everything there. But that comes with a major shortage of nurses. So if you are a nurse thinking about moving to the beach, this might be your calling.
Until a robot comes in from Elon Musk
and
takes over nursing.
So, but there is for sure some more opportunities for additional healthcare in our area, but they are actively adding healthcare facilities.
That's a huge part of it. And I think, everybody who's 55 and better, they're going to look for that 60 plus, 70 plus.
I look for that. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Tiffany looks for that.
That's like the first thing I ask. Where's the closest hospital? And we did do a video on hospitals.
We did. We also did one on anti-venom.
Yeah. At Grand Strand Hospital.
Yep. Yeah.
So, but I think we have seen a clear difference since we first moved here to now of what is offered. And I feel like we've had everything we've needed as a family here. We haven't had to go to Charleston, knock on wood. But
I think you're going to get a lot of people, though, that have different experiences at the different hospitals. I have heard so far, and I'm not bashing, but
not mentioning certain names.
Okay. This one hospital has not been that great, but this one over here has been great every time. Yeah. So you're going to get,
we had good experience at that. Not great.
So I had a plate and 13 screws put in my forearm here from breaking it in many places. That was a great experience at Grand Strand, actually.
Yeah.
We had a Hudson at Grand Strand. That was a great experience.
Yeah, that's very nice.
So we haven't had any real negative experiences, knock on wood.
And we have friends that work there. So
yes. But I hear people that are like, hey, this hospital had a bad experience. This one I had a great. So you're going to get that as you get competition probably too. So whatever.
But the good news is now that there's more competition, there's more options to go somewhere else.
Yes.
So that's good for us for sure.
True.
So with all of the crowds and the lag of some things, what's your bottom line overall message, Frank?
About what's going on in the growth in South Carolina?
Yeah. And what
I think,
should people move here or stop moving here like TikTok says? What is your opinion as far as a local?
I think I love it here. I love the small town feel in some areas, and I do love that we're having growth. I like both sides of it, but I love the fact that we're growing. I think that just says to me that it's a great investment long term. And I think also because you got to think about long term and short term. And what I love about our area here in Myrtle Beach and really all up and down the coast, I'm sure it's like this in all the little towns, North Carolina, South Carolina, when we drive up and down the coast, it's like a little bit like stepping back in time. So I feel like we could get to like a major city, but things are just
slower.
It's just slower. And I really love that about it here. And if you don't want that, then you shouldn't come. But if you do, then it's here. And I really like it because it still has a little bit of that small town feel, but you also have people moving here. And I love that.
I don't think there's that many places that you have so much access to the beach, really easy, but you also have access to all the conveniences like Target, Costco, restaurants, activities, schools. I mean, we have everything you could want here, and the beach. It's like a hidden gem. And I think that's what people are discovering. And that's why they're moving here in droves, is because they're discovering what we did. It's like this area that's been like a secret.
Well, it hasn't, and that's interesting. I think it's kind of funny how you would think that multiple years being named number one attraction, number one place to live, number one place to whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's other places that are on the list too that we battle with. But why would you not be investing here or trying to move here if you're picking someplace,
or just considering it?
Yeah. So I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah. Still, while our prices we have gone up as we showed you, but they're still reasonable at this point, and we're a balanced market right now. You can get a good deal right now. So I think it's, I agree with you that it makes you feel like your investment is more solid. You're investing it into an area that is actually going to grow and not recede. You don't want that.
That's right.
And so I think that it's a great option for people, and you just have to take the good with the bad. And I don't know if there's anywhere you could live where you didn't have both. Maybe. No,
there's always there's pros and cons to every place. But I think the goal, I would be interested to hear if you have any comments or any opinions on anything that we talked about tonight. You know, the I-73 stuff, or where you see Myrtle Beach going. Some of you know more than us in certain areas. So if you have inside info, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to know if you live here now or if you're considering moving here, and what, if you never did move here, why didn't you move here? I think that'd be interesting. Mm-hmm. So if you have answers to any of those questions or you want to share, do it if you're watching this video later. But in the meantime, I think it's great that people are moving here and calling it home. I don't want it to change. I want it to keep its core.
I think that's the biggest thing. If the small town feel of the kindness of people and the community we have changes, that would be a sad thing. We haven't seen that change yet, but hopefully it won't.
Yeah, I agree.
In the future. Hopefully we'll keep our charm here, but right now we still have it. So, but we do always love hearing from y'all, your feedback, and also people have said topics on what we should discuss, and we appreciate that so much as well. So if there's something that you want us to bring up and discuss, we would love to hear that.
Agreed. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know any topics that you have, any questions. And don't forget to subscribe, reach out if you have any questions.
And call us if you want to buy, sell, build, or renovate.
We are here. So I hope this helped everybody get an idea of what's going on in the state of South Carolina and then how that affects Myrtle Beach. But we're excited to keep talking about it. And anything big that happens, we will make sure that you are the first ones to know.
Have a good night, everybody.
Take care. See you guys next week.